Good to see you. Hi there. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome in. Those of you joining us here in the Zoom room, in our live audience, we're thrilled to see you. And those of you on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, hello, hello. So happy to be with you today. It's a new year. If you're watching this and streaming it when we're actually recording, it is a brand new year. So happy new year to everyone who is celebrating moving into. I know we know time is an illusion, but it feels pretty real here in on planet Earth, right? And so we are going to do an exercise today that I think will help focus us, inspire us, expand us, not only to start this new week in a really powerful energy, but to start this new year in a really powerful energy as well. So I'm absolutely thrilled that you're joining us for this episode and excited to dive in. What I want to talk about today, and if you've been following some of our other social posts, you've heard me share a little bit about this. We're going to be talking today about the four types of years that people typically have. Since we're recording this episode at the new year, just days into a brand new calendar year, there is all kinds of excitement. There's all kinds of possibility that we can feel. Maybe you feel tired already. Sometimes that happens. We're supposed to just barrel into a new calendar year and have a whole new life. So, whatever you're feeling, I welcome you. I'm thrilled that you're here today and committed that by joining together today, we are going to make a difference in your day, your week, and your entire year ahead. So that's the commitment that we have here today. So what we're going to do is talk about the four types of years that human beings typically have. And then I'm going to invite you to choose the type of year that you're calling in, the type of year that you want to have in this new calendar year. And then we're going to make it tangible with something that's going to let us know if we're living in the previous year. Is that a 2025 thing, or is it a 2026 you? Is it 2025 you or 2026 you? Now, I'm going to tell a little bit of a silly story to get us in the mood for this exercise. And if any of you know the comedian Jerry Seinfeld, obviously a hugely famous, longtime career standing comedian who has had TV shows as well as does stand-up comedy. And Jerry has a bit that he does in his stand-up, and he might have done it on his show as well. But Jerry Seinfeld does this bit about present Jerry and future Jerry. So evening Jerry and morning Jerry. Okay, if anyone's seen this bit, it's pretty funny. So what Jerry Seinfeld says is in this comedic routine is, nighttime Jerry really has one objective: to have fun, right? Nighttime Jerry is like, woo, I'm going to go out, I'm going to party, I'm going to have some drinks, I'm going to be wild, I'm going to stay up late. Nighttime Jerry's only desire, right, is to go out and have a great time. And then morning Jerry's desire is like, I want to feel good. I want to get stuff done. I want to be a productive human being. I want to have good health. And so he talked about this sort of battle between the two Jerrys, right? Nighttime Jerry is like, woohoo, staying up late, drinking, partying, all that stuff. And morning Jerry is like, feels like garbage because party Jerry has gone out and been a wild man and is now probably hungover, exhausted, sleep deprived, dehydrated, malnourished, God knows what relationship mayhem has ensued, right? So we all kind of get this, right? We have elements of ourselves that want to just F it, I don't have to think about anything. And then we have parts of ourselves that are more forward thinking, using our executive function, that are focused on, what's going to be creating the best possible future. So one's just in the moment, the other one's thinking further out, right? And luckily, probably those of you in this community are not in a battle between a party all night person inside you and a, responsible adult as well. That would be pretty tough. But we probably all can recognize moments where the current us just wants to either check out, zone out, phone it in, not be responsible. But then that's going to have an impact on the future us, right? Future Debbie, future Ann, future Karen, future Terry, future Susan, all of you here, right? And so the reason I'm sharing this story is because we're going to do an exercise today about the 4 years, the four types of years that people can have. And we're going to make it tangible with an actual action that you'll commit to by the end of this episode. So I thought this would just be a fun way because I like thinking about and just to give you the payoff. Comedians talk about the payoff to their little bit. So Jerry's talking about nighttime Jerry and daytime Jerry. And, there's that moment when nighttime Jerry kind of knows that he's screwing over, his other self. And he's like, yeah, I think that's future Jerry's problem, right? Future Jerry, my drinking 12 shots of whatever is that's future, that's morning Jerry's problem, right? So we're not going to do that to ourselves, right? The reason I'm sharing that silly story is because we are not going to be that person to ourselves this year. And while hopefully none of us are really making a decision between going out and partying all night and, feeling sick in the morning, we are still in that conversation, aren't we? Has anyone even felt that in the first few days of the year, that there's moments where you're like, this would be a powerful action to take. This would be a bold move. And then there's a part of you that's like, yeah, that feels a little scary. That's going to stretch me. That's going to feel uncomfortable, right? And so we are in a version of that conversation about what kind of person we are going to be. And the reason that's so up for many of us at the turn of a calendar year is that it does prompt on a conscious and a subconscious level this idea of really choosing intentionally. So we're going to harness that cultural trend so that we can empower ourselves to have the best year of our lives so far. Who's up for that with me? Like, you're here to have the best life. 2026 gets to be the best life of your life so far. My life so far, all of our lives so far. The best life in this community so far. And I'm so fired up to do that together. And we're going to start it right now. All right. Because we've got not only today together, but on Wednesday, we'll be doing Epic Year Part 2. So if you have not signed up for that already, all right, make sure that you have. It's a completely free event. It is my New Year's gift to all of you. We're going to be spending from 1 to 3 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, January 7th together so that we can make sure that whatever you have decided you are going for this year gets to happen. Okay, that actually gets to happen for you, that gets to be real for you, that this gets to be the year when it's not a vision on a board or a fantasy in your mind. It is your life. And that doesn't happen by default. It won't happen by accident. It won't happen by just doing what we've been doing, but it absolutely does get to happen for you. So how exciting is that, right? That is super exciting that that's what we're up to. So we have today to get us started. I'm going to give you a little we're going to light a match. We're going to light this fuse and start this power of this year in full octane. And then on Wednesday in Epic Year, we're going to be going deeper into that. All right. After I teach you this exercise today, I'll also give you a heads up about a couple other things in January that are here for you depending on what your big goals are for the year. All right. So I want to talk about the 4 types of years, right, that people have. One type of year that a lot of people have is what we'd call the regression year. Right? You could call it a regression year, a backslide year, a reversal year. That's where stuff comes up and instead of moving through it, right, we retreat and sort of end up going back where be like even less than we were before, whether that's in revenue, whether that's in impact, whether that's in creative output, whether that's in whatever, right? Has anyone ever had a moment like that? Doesn't have to be a whole year, but we've had that. You've had that experience, right? You've had it. Okay. The second type of year that human beings, typically could have is what we would call the maintenance year, the static year, right? You're maintaining where you've been. Now, if you've been in an epic zone, best year of your life, then that is a great thing. There's no judgment about any of these years, right? You might take a backslide year and then get a detour to something even more awesome, right? We're not here to judge. I'm here to invite you to choose what kind of year you're going to have because you have agency and you get to decide and you get to choose what kind of year you're going to have. So so in the static year, you're maintaining. Now, this is tricky because in order to maintain, we can't actually even just tread water. We actually have to put some effort in. Tony Robbins famously says if we're not growing, we're actually reversing, right? So even to maintain, there's going to be, action that we take, but we are pretty much rinse and repeating. right? So maybe that's the kind of year you want to have, and that's good, right? There's no rights and wrongs. Okay. Third type of year that we can have is what we would consider a growth year, right? So this is a year where we're having some linear growth. We are probably taking new actions. We are expanding ourselves in some way. We are pursuing new things, and we are growing in a growth year. And it's typically what's called a linear growth, right? Where you're sort of like, I'm building, I'm going from here to here. And that can be a great year to have. It can be a wonderful year to have, right? A growth year that can be very invigorating and empowering and awesome. The fourth kind of year is your breakthrough year. It's a breakout year. It's a quantum leap year. And if that's the kind of year you're interested in having, this is where we're talking about a 3x jump, a 10x jump, a entire timeline jump where your life goes to places that should not normally be possible, right? If you're in the Gamma group, I know a lot of you are with us in the Gamma group, right? That's where all year long, that's the kind of year we're having in the Gamma group, right? That's the work we're doing there. The breakthrough year, the quantum leap year, the thing that shouldn't have happened, right? Because the Gamma group is about creating miracles, right? Tapping into your true genius, actualizing your full potential. So if you're doing that work with us all year long, that's what we're up to, right? And also, that kind of year can happen in many different ways. We're going to be doing it in the Monetize Your Book Club. We're going to be doing it in all of our work together. So I want to ask you, what kind of year? No judgment, no comparison. Don't make it about someone else. And I should say I want a quantum leap year because everyone else. No, F that. Like, you get to have the year that you're intending that matches your goals. If your goals are to do what you did last year, then you're going to pick a combo really of a static year with a growth year. Because remember, if we're not growing, we are reverting a little bit. Okay. If your goal is a breakthrough year, a quantum leap year, a timeline jump year, right? Then you're picking number 4, right? If you want more financial abundance, you want more impact, you want to create more of your creative visions and bring them into form. If you want to change the game in the world that my God needs leaders to step up and change the game right now, right? If you want to take a stand for what you believe in and be visible in that so that you can be a lighthouse for other people, then you're likely going to choose that breakthrough year. Okay, so those of you in the studio audience today, right? Those of you here with us, I'd love to hear in the chat which one you're choosing. Those of you on social and YouTube and everything, put it in the comments. I'm going to go look at all of them. All right. So, yeah, I'll review those again, right? Year 1 is a backslide or a reversal year. Year 2 is a static, like a maintenance. Year 3 is linear growth. And not year, option 4 type of year is your breakout, right? That's your quantum leap, your timeline jump. So I'm not surprised that in this room, those of us that are here together are going for number 4, right? We're going for number 4. And yeah, and it doesn't have to be hard. Like Amy's saying, I want to go for an easy breakout year. This isn't about working harder. It's about being differently and doing different things. It's not about doing more at all necessarily. Sometimes it's actually about doing less. Because sometimes we're kind of running around it's about an entirely different this is what we're going to do on Wednesday at Epic Year. Okay. So just again, if you could share that link again and just make sure that you all are coming, or we will automatically send you the replay if you're not available at the specific time that we're doing it. Right. So just choose for yourself what kind of year you're going to have, and make sure that you're going to learn what it's going to take, right? What is it going to take to make that inevitable? Because a breakout year is not going to happen by default. It's not going to happen automatically, and it's not going to happen by doing what we did. It just won't. What got us here won't get us there. We all know this, whether that's in health, business, whatever, right? And yeah. And you can use whatever, right? Whatever wording you can decide, right? Instead of the idea of, some people don't like the word break, right? That's totally cool. All right. So quantum leaping, that's what, if you're going for number 4, that's what we're going to do. And I want to drill this down to something really, really practical. Again, on Wednesday, we are going to be going through an entire 2-hour experience where I'm going to take you into creating this year from the level of identity, at the level of conscious and subconscious mind, at the level of the quantum. All right. That's what we're going to do together when we have more, full, long 2 hours together. But for now, we want to get it started. We don't even want to wait 2 days. We don't even want to wait 48 hours in order to do this. Okay. So I want you to think about and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And I want you to think about your top 3 goals for the year. I'm going to be referencing these a lot this month. Top 3 goals for 2026. I want you to pull them into your mind, pull them into your heart. Just really let yourself kind of pour love onto those goals. And I want you to think about just hone in on one of them. Okay. So you've got your 3 in mind and in your heart. And I want you to just zoom in. Imagine we're in like a little, like one of those cool little space explorers, and we're going to zoom in on one of them. Okay. And now I want you to ask yourself, what does the person who achieves that goal, who lives that reality, what is one behavior, one habit or behavior, repeatable action that person does in order to achieve that result? Just take a minute and really poke around, meditate or journal. What is one action that person does? That makes that reality inevitable. And then if you are here live with us, put in the chat just put a number 1 if you've got something. If you can think of one thing that person who achieves this goal with ease, who lives this reality, is doing. Awesome. Okay. So again, if you're watching this elsewhere, you can pause and go back to this episode if you need some time. If you're not sure, here's my hack, right? Find 1 to 3 or find 3 to 5 people who've done this, who've achieved it, and then read about them or listen to interviews with them or read their autobiographies or read their memoirs, or if it's someone you actually know, just ask them. What are your daily habits? What do you do? Right? If you're not sure, that's okay, because you're stepping into something new. It sounds like a lot of you actually had something come to mind already. Your subconscious already knows. Okay. So now what we want to do is make this really tangible. Okay. Really, really specific. So if anyone got one, put an example into those of you who are here in the audience with us, put in the chat, what's something that this person who easily lives this reality, easily achieves this goal, what's something that they repeatedly do? Okay, so if you're doing like more esoteric qualities like persistence or alignment, showing up consistently, I want like a really specific action. So I'm going to give you an example from my own life. When I did this exercise over the weekend, one of the things that the person who fulfills my 3 goals for this year does is she makes a daily piece of content that really strengthens her visibility and her impact to others on and in some kind of a brand capacity, like social media. So she's creating a daily piece of content that is valuable or inspirational or both on social media. Okay, that's a really granular thing. but it's something that this person is creating a powerful brand, and she is very visible, and she is creating that piece of content. Okay. So it's like, what's it, right? So we want something really specific so we know if we did it or not. Because if we say something like, nice to myself or peaceful or what, it's harder to measure. So we want to get granular about this, because when you build an identity from the inside out, which is what we're going to be doing on Wednesday, right? There are specific actions and habits that the person who is living your ideal year, your breakout year, your quantum leap, what do they do? So some of you are saying a weekly YouTube video, creating art every day in the studio, morning journaling with daily goals, journaling in the vision daily, boundaries around time. So time blocking and commitments. These are awesome. Okay. So one of the things I'm committed to doing 5 days a week, like during, working days, I will be creating a piece of content every single day. Now, in the past, I might have done, 2 a week, 3 a week, something like that, but it hasn't been every single day, and it hasn't been as intentional. And obviously there's many, I have a huge list of things that my 2026 self does to ensure that her goals are inevitable. But one very specific one was this content, and very like strong branded, high value, high aspirational, inspirational content every single day, right? That isn't something I'm particularly excited to do. I'm not. There's a lot of other things. I've been in revisions hours a day on my book. I've been working on all of our classes that we're teaching this, all the teaching and facilitating. I love to teach. I love to coach, facilitate, to write, to do these other things. Making a piece of social media content every day is not the thing I would just say, oh, you know what I'd love to get up and do? Some people love it. I have not. I'm going to learn to love it this year. I can tell you all right now, right? I'm gonna love it now. um, but I can choose to love it. I can decide to love it, and come to a place to love it. When I think about being of service and inspiring other people, then I get excited about it. So that's where what my come from will be. So right. So I love this. So we've got a lot of you that are here. You're getting clear on what that is, right? So Amy Day says, I'm going to make a marketing plan for Q1 and follow the plan for the year, right? So you have a plan and you actually follow it, right? So that's great. Now, we can get into a whole nother conversation about, and I want to take us all the way with this, because you're going to have more than one thing. But today I wanted us to identify one thing, and I wanted to give you a specific example, because I could say, build a big brand. That's what people who fulfill my goals for the year would have. But then what does that mean? Like, what is the way I'm going to do that? And one of the ways I'm going to do that is by having this daily, piece of content. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that go into building a big brand, but I wanted us to get very specific and very tangible, because it is all too easy to be vague and then just not know if we did or not, and then nothing actually changes. I know, and I'm accountable now to myself if I've made that piece of content, right? I'm going to take a piece from this section that we're doing today, and I'm going to make a little piece of content about it that's going to go on social, right? So I'm doing it right now in real time, just modeling for you, right? Like what what makes this inevitable? What's going to make sure that you're different? How many of you know that you get to act differently, think differently, be differently, and do differently in order to achieve your goals this year? Is anyone else like me? Like, it is going to require different things, not harder, not necessarily more, but different, right? Absolutely. So this is the way we get clear on what the heck that even means. Again, on Wednesday, we'll go deeper into all of this. So now I want to say, great. So we have this action that we're going to take with some kind of consistency or regularity, whether it's daily, weekly, whatever it is. Now, how are we going to make sure we do it? Right? I mean, I can write a list. I'm going to make this piece of content, but how are we going to make sure we do it? So I'm a huge fan of habit stacking. If you've read Atomic Habits, that's one of the books that talks about habit stacking. Habit stacking is where you take something you already do without fail. Like, it's not going to not happen. You already do this thing, whether if you have a daily action, to be a daily thing, weekly. So I want everyone to decide, what is something you do. Just start brainstorming, and you can put some in the chat. What is something you already do every day? So for instance, like Karen said, she journals every day. I take a shower every day. I love taking a shower. It's a real treat for me. I love like the hot water. I love the meditative. I always get great downloads in the shower. It's a very cool frequency for me. Love it. All kinds of good stuff. And I love aromatherapy. I love scent. I love essential oil. So I'm really loving my shower every day. I'm going to take it, right? Typically 90 some percent of the time it's in the morning, depending on what else I have going on. Maybe it's later in the day, but I'm taking a shower every day. So an easy thing for me to do that I started doing at the first of the year is in the shower, deciding what piece of content I'm going to make that day, right? I'm not filming the content in the shower. It'd be a very different feed. I don't know, probably attract a different audience filming in the shower. It's not suitable for certain social media channels, right? I'm not going to film in the shower, but I am going to decide while I'm in the shower, because I know I will be in the shower every single day. I will decide in the shower what my piece of content is going to be. I will decide what it's going to be. I'll decide when I'm going to film it. I will choose, do I need any like extra help in creating it, like meaning, do I need any graphics or B-roll? Like am I doing something like this where I'm already, on a live training? Or am I doing something where I'm going to just grab my phone on the street while I'm on a walk? Like, what's it going to be? And when is it going to happen? Okay. So this is a great way that we can all think about habit stacking something. What's the new behavior that your 2026 self is going to be doing with consistency? And then stack it with something that you already are doing, your 2025 and beyond self is already going to do without fail. So we don't want to choose something here that has a variable. Oh, I sometimes work out and sometimes don't. I sometimes listen to music. No, pick the thing that you always do, right? And then you're going to habit stack. Now, again, I can't complete my daily action in the shower typically. Now I feel like I'm going to find a way to shoot from that, do a thing in the shower, but that won't be my norm. So then I've got to go one more step further. If I'm not going to complete that, right? If I'm not going to complete that action in my habit stack, how will I ensure that it is going to get done? Because I'll tell you right now, there's going to be days I'm not going to freaking feel like doing that piece of content. I can tell you right now, it'll probably be by tomorrow. I won't feel like doing it necessarily, right? So how are we going to, in addiction recovery, we call this plan for the relapse. Plan for it. Plan for someone offering you a drink. Plan for people telling you to go into a bar. Plan for a work event where you have to be around your substance, right? If you're in addiction recovery, you're not going to assume that there will not be moments when you're going to face a really tough choice, right? A tough decision about what you're going to do. Unless we live in a bubble and isolate ourselves, right? It's the same thing with whatever it is that we are doing with whatever, those of you that were on from the beginning of this episode, what you identified is a new habit or action that your 2026 self takes consistently to make your top goals inevitable, right? So what am I going to do, and what are you going to do when we don't want to do that new behavior? Because we're not going to want to do it on some days, right? Even if we're having fun, we're just, in most of the time, we're just not going to want to, or we're going to get busy, right? My dog's going to throw up on the carpet. My son's going to need a ride home earlier. The whatever's going to go on. There's going to be 18,000 extra emails, whatever it is. There's going to be times when that's not going to feel easy in any way. And then I get to choose who I'm going to be this year, right? And you get to choose who you're going to be. 4 types of years. What kind of year am I having? Am I going to backslide, maintain, linear growth, or am I quantum leaping? And because I'm quantum leaping this year, I will be doing the thing. I'll be doing the thing. If I have a trip coming up, then I will figure out how to get that content made before I go on the trip, if I don't want to think about it when I'm on the trip, right? We're always at choice. We are always at choice. So I'm going to talk you through, I'm going to talk you through some other ways that I put fail safes in. How do I plan for the moments that I'm not going to want to, or I want to, but just like there's too much other stuff going on. And it feels like, oh, I could just say no big deal. The years that I've made quantum leaps are the years when I make things my non-negotiable commitments, not my intentions. I can intend to create a piece of content every day. I can intend to pitch a speaking engagement every day. I can intend to make a sales offer every day. I can intend to write a book. I can intend all kinds of stuff. and I'll have nothing to show for it. It's when I made it a commitment, right? So if I'm committing, and I am committing, and I hate that I just said this here because now I really, really, really am committed, right? Now it's social. So use this. I'm demonstrating this in real time because you can do this too. You can tell people in your life that you don't want to disappoint what you're doing, and then you're going to be more committed to it, right? So that's a one way to plan for the relapse. If someone is, and when I say relapse, I just mean, the time when you're not going to want to do the thing or not feel like you can do the thing. The person who suddenly is like, I tried to move, I didn't hang out with my old friends, but now I have to go to this work event that's in a bar, and I'm scared about being around alcohol, right? What are they going to do? They're going to tell people. They might have a sponsor. They might be in a recovery program. They might be in a meeting. They might have a friend who's also committed to sobriety. And they're going to say, okay, man, like I got to go to this work thing. There's going to be stuff around. I don't want it to, and they're going to come up with a plan. It could be bookending. So this is another technique you can use, right? You can book, if I have a day that I just don't want to do the content, I could text Anne and I could say, Anne, I don't want to freaking do it, but I'm committed. I committed to this, and my 2026 self, who makes my goals inevitable, does this piece of content. So I'm going to have a tantrum, and then I'm going to go make the content. I'll text you after I'm done. Right? We can do that with each other. Right? We can do that with each other. So you can bookend, you can make it social. That's what Brendan Burchard calls you say it publicly, something you're going to do. There's some neuroscience. This is so funny to me. There's some neuroscience that suggests, there's a study that says if you tell everyone you're going to do something, then you're less motivated to do it because you feel like you got the hit off everyone saying, cool. I have never experienced that in my life. I feel like then, I created good pressure, right? Pressure creates the diamond. So I've created good pressure on myself that I got to do it. The only reason I wrote The Science of Getting Rich for Women in 6 weeks is because I told all of our clients in Thought Leader Academy that I was going to model doing a book in 6 weeks because some of them wanted to do it. But the only reason I would have taken like 2 years to write that book, hands down. I had no time. It was not convenient. It was hard to write that book in 6. It was a lot. So glad I did it. It was amazing. The book I'm currently writing was not a 6-week book. Massive research, much different book. It's taken me, all year. And I tell you what, I was writing many hours over the last couple months on it, right? It's great. They're both fabulous. There's not a right and wrong, but it's just like, what's the commitment? Okay. So yeah. So what's your commitment around this action? Are you committed or are you intending? It's okay wherever you are. Just own it. And what would it take to get yourself to committed for the actions that are going to matter the most this year? Right? On the flip side, I am also committed to white space. What does that mean? It means that I'm committed to not have every single freaking hour of my day and my week scheduled with doing stuff. Right? So that's a different kind of a commitment. Am I going to have temptation around that? You better believe it. Because I could just, but I could get this. I could write this. I could reach out to, I could, no, there will be white space. I am committed to it. I've had it as an intention for 2 years. And I had some, but I did not have the extent of white space that I know will allow me to even have more powerful downloads to create the kind of way that I want to create, to tap into genius, to tap into innovation, everything. I'm committed to that now. It's part of the Gamma Group. It's part of the download that I'm living this year, right? So think about what this is bringing up for you. What are the ways we can, so to go through our process from the beginning, what did we start with? We started with, what are the big goals for the year, right? And then we looked at, okay, what is one action that the person who for sure is achieving those goals repeatedly takes, right? What's something that they do, a tangible thing, not a vague thing, a tangible thing that they do. And then we look at how are we going to make it a certainty that we do that. We can commit, we can habit stack. What do you already do that you could do it at the same time or do a piece of it at the same time? What kind of making it social? You're going to out yourself to people that you care about and don't want to disappoint so that you'll have that accountability, that sort of good social pressure. And then are you going to bookend with an accountability partner? Are you going to let someone know? Becky and I, bookended together and be like, all right, Becky, I'm texting you every morning and I'm texting you every night. And I'm going to say what I'm promising to do. And then I'm going to say what I did. Because I don't want to message Becky at the end of the day and say I didn't do, you know what, on what I said. I would feel like a garbage person to do that because I'm there in a power partnership with Becky, holding each other high and having a quantum year. Right. So that's what we're talking about, right? You can schedule it, you can set reminders, we can do all the things, but I just want to get your wheels turning as we get ready to move into Wednesday's Epic Year deep dive on this, when we're going to be looking at your top 3 goals and really going through a more extensive process, right? And a more extensive, like how to create the identity and live in. When we live from the identity of the person, this stuff is actually not hard. It's not going to be hard for me to make a piece of content every day when I'm living from the identity of my 2026 self that achieves those goals, because she just already does that. The same way I take a shower every day, the same way I work out every day, I take a walk every day, the same way. That's not that me doesn't fight for white space. She is relentlessly and unwaveringly committed and protective of her white space. She makes content every day because that's how she serves. And she's already figured out how to make it fun for herself and easy for herself. And so when we go from the level of identity, we're not trying. This is why people I've worked with on books have ended up also losing like 40 pounds. They were releasing extra weight they were carrying. We've had multiple people who've been like, oh my gosh, that was, you know, I was carrying around this extra stuff. It didn't happen by trying. It's they stepped into a new identity of themselves as a leader. And they realized that being strong and healthy and well and eating well and moving their body was just part of that identity. So it wasn't a struggle. It wasn't a white knuckle kind of experience. All right. So I'm really thrilled that we had this conversation today. And I want to hear if this made a difference for you. I want to hear those of you that are in the live audience, those of you are streaming it on social, you can let us know in the comments. Please leave a comment and say, what's your takeaway? And make sure that you're signed up for Epic Year. It is free. It is here for you Wednesday, 1 to 3 Eastern. Or if you can't come live, we'll send you the replay once you register. Okay, so make sure you're coming, because that's when we're going to really build out this identity in a more robust way, so that you can ensure that this really is a quantum year for you, that this is a breakout year, that this is a year where it doesn't matter what's happened up until now, and it doesn't matter what's going on in the world, that you are going to self-actualize, which is pretty freaking cool. All right, so I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to be with you all more this week and beyond, and just a couple of other save the dates, so that if your 1 to 3 goals include speaking, if you want to speak more, whether that's on podcasts, on virtual events, guest speaking, paid keynotes, anything about speaking this year, we'll be doing our speaking intensive. It's a day-long workshop where we're going to be doing that on Wednesday, January 21st. And I'm going to take you through exactly what it's going to take to get booked and paid to speak in 2026. And we'll be going through a very in-depth, it's something we've only ever taught within Thought Leader Academy, but we're doing it as a 1-day intensive for those of you, because we had a lot of requests of people saying, hey, I just really want to learn how you get booked to speak, how to get paid to speak, what are my speaker assets, what are companies. I've spent the last 8 weeks interviewing speaking agents, speaking bureau directors, people in the media, people that are doing that are booking speakers, podcast producers. What are you looking for in 2026? What do you need to see from someone? So if that's on your vision, please come join us. The link is in the chat. And Michelle, can you give everyone the code? Because it's normally a $1,500 intensive. It's a very robust training that has a lot of follow-up materials and things that you'll be able to use for the rest of your career. But we're gonna offer it to all of you guys at $497 if you book that now. So you can use that link. Yes, Speak 2026 is the code. Okay, so if you're interested in that, that's coming up on January 21st. All right, so Epic Year is Wednesday. Come get this identity locked in so that you achieve your goals in a way that's fun and a way that's empowered, a way that feels natural and in flow. You're going to make your new normal, right? You're going to create a new normal for yourself. And if speaking is on your list, make sure that you sign up and use that code so that you can come at that special rate. And I'll walk you through. You'll get all the materials. You're going to get my 6-step pitch process, exactly how to, craft. You're going to make a list of 100 places that you're going to reach out to right after the workshop to speak. I'm going to show you how to you're going to leave with 100 either podcasts, organizations, places. You're going to have your list of 100. You're going to have your speaking pitch template. You are going to have the whole methodology I use. I've done hundreds and hundreds. I don't know, it's probably over 1,000 at this point, either podcast interviews, talks, keynotes, and you're going to know exactly what you're going to need from the speaking agent perspective. Those of you who want to book those 5K keynotes this year. Okay. So really, really excited to, yes, we're activating together. I love that. Really excited to be with you Wednesday, excited to be with you on January 21st if speaking is on your vision for this year. And we've had that request for 3 years now to please offer it outside of Thought Leader Academy on its own. And we are finally doing it. So I'm ecstatic that we'll be able to do that together. All right, everyone. So we will see you either Wednesday. If you're in Gamma Group, I will see you today at 2:00 Eastern time. And you're just going to be already in the zone. You're going to be already activated a little bit, and we'll take this further. All right. See you all later today or Wednesday. Bye-bye.